Okay, so breaking down these odds here. FanDuel, when it first opened up, this is where I got my first screenshot of the lines. This was back in late June, early July. You can see that Brian Norman Jr. opened up as the dog at plus 112, which is a great number. And Devin Haney opened up at minus 140. So I've been trying to tell people that Brian Norman officially did open up as the dog. Vegas is saying that this guy's the dog for a reason. We like Brian Norman Jr. That's what we like. So the public kept betting Devin Haney. So he turned into a dog. So they said, okay, well, y'all love him so much, we're going to turn him to a dog. We like Brian Norman Jr. So the public kept betting Devin Haney. So that's why he went to the dog. So then I want to say maybe a couple weeks later to a month, Devin Haney became the dog. And then that's when you seen everybody and their mom say, hey, how did Devin Haney go to the dog? Why is Devin Haney the dog? And people not really give you a clear-cut answer to why he went to the dog, right? Even with all the accolades, undisputed and championship belts and being, recognizable as a champion in multiple weight classes and things of that nature, but nobody can give you a clear-cut thought on what was going on. I have privy to this information because I gamble all the time, like I will explain in this video. But Devin Haney went to the dog simply because all the money was coming in on him. At one point, I want to say he even had 90% of the handle. So that's where you see the green at 90% of the handle. And then he had 66% of the bets. But Vegas was saying that, hey, this guy right here is the dog for a reason, right? For a reason, pretty much stating that we like Brian Norman Jr. So we're going to let y'all keep betting Devin Haney. You guys don't want to believe the line, so we're going to let you guys keep tagging him and put money on him. And then what we're going to do next, since y'all keep wanting to bet him, we're going to turn him over into the favorite. So that way we can clean up on both sides of this bet because we really like Brian Norman Jr. Jones back, man. It's like this, dog. When we talk about the betting odds, I'm gonna just break the shit down, right? We talk about the betting odds. I done seen so many people talk about the betting odds and not even know what they was talking about, looking at things of that nature. I've seen all these channels and come back and say, oh, Devin the favorite. No, the fuck, he's not. That's crazy. Y'all know that I gamble a lot, right? Y'all know that I gamble a lot. Not only do I gamble a lot, like I look at these odds all the time. You know what I mean? I look at these odds all the time, and I'm literally gambling. I literally gamble every day on sports, and that's why a lot of people been calling, hey, John, bro, you got to tell me what the odds say, what the odds doing, and you know what I mean, what this mean, and da-da-da-da, right? And I hear it all the time. That's why I just be laughing because people know when I bet on these odds. A lot of people can say they want a lot of money with me when we talking about the odds. Like when we talking about the odds, a lot of people can say they made a lot of money with me. Y'all know that. It's nothing to lie about. Y'all know I gamble all the time and stuff like that. But the reality of it is, when the lines first came out, Devin Haney was the favorite. He was minus 140. Brian Norman Jr., when the odds came out, when they first came out, Brian Norman Jr. was a plus 112. And that was found on FanDuel, right? That was found on FanDuel. Actually, that was like the first sport book who had the odds to that fight up. And that was back in, listen, hear me closely. That was back in, right after the press conference in New York. So like we're going to say the end of June. I think it was like the end of June, July, something like that. I can't really remember. But he opened up as a dog. And then about a month later, no, I'm going to say a month. Yeah, about a month later, 3 to 4 weeks later, you seen Devin Haney go over to the dog. The reason why you seen Devin Haney go over to the dog is because so much money was coming in on Devin Haney, right? And this is what's called line reverse movement. So much money was coming in on Devin Haney that they said, okay, well, Vegas made their choice, who they think will win the fight, right? Vegas made a choice on who they think will win the fight, and it still shows. And the reason why it goes like that, because All the money is coming in on Devin. So basically, Vegas is like this. They're saying, okay, we think Norman gonna win. Obviously, the public think Haney gonna win. So we're gonna do this. We're gonna move Devin Haney to the dog just to see if y'all stop betting on him. Just to see if y'all stop betting on him. Not only did the odds go up for Devin Haney, it went not up but down for Devin Haney. He went to the dog side and he got as high as plus 120, and people still kept betting him. If you know me, you know I got people who have sport books. I got 3 different people who run sports books. I got people who at DraftKings. I got sports books. People who are high in places and bet online. I got sports book. All the handle of the money is on Devin Haney. That's why you seen the lines move the way they did, because they pretty much saying we're picking Brian Norman, you guys picking Devin Haney. So what we're gonna do is put all them. We're gonna let y'all keep piling up the money. At one point, Devin Haney had 90% of the money, meaning he had 90% of the higher dollar bets, like the $100,000s and $40,000, $10,000 bets, right? But there's a difference between the handle of the money and the percentage of percentages of the bets. Devin Haney was just getting the large amount of bills, right? Currently, Devin Haney is getting like 52% of the bets, which is not good. Which is not good, because normally what happens is when you have the handle and the percentages of the bet, you rather have the percentages of the bets than percentages of the handle, if that makes sense. But I know a lot of you guys don't gamble. A lot of you guys, this shit sound foreign, but I do this. I've been doing this 17 years now. But he has to handle the larger money of the bets, right? While Brian Norman was only getting like 12%, 2%. A lot of times in gambling, you want to go away from where all the money is. And that's because a lot of times when all the money is on one side, the other team wins. It's just like football. It's just like basketball, hockey. What else? Different things you can bet on, right? I do this every day and every night. Sometimes when I don't even have time to research, I go see who's getting the large percent of the money. Anytime you get in between 80 to 90% of the money, I automatically just go to the other side and put that bet in, and it's gonna hit because all the money is on one side. Vegas, they do shit like that. They let you bet the other side all you want, and then the other side win. Prime example, just like the other night on the NFL game. Was the last night, I believe. It was the Houston Texans and the who was that? The Buffalo Bills. All the money was on the Buffalo Bills. Even though I make my own NFL lines, even though my lines had one of my favorite numbers. Not only did it have my favorite number, but it also had a number that I know for sure that was going to hit, because it always hit for me. And then I seen all the money on the other side. I blind betted without even doing research. I just did my own lines. I blind betted, put $300 on the Houston Texans to win outright, and I put it on the spread. Easy money, easy, right? But now people say, well, now Devin the favorite. All the podcasts and everybody, oh, Devin's the favorite now. No, he's not. It's literally a pick 'em. Did he come back on the dog from the favorite side? Absolutely. I'm gonna tell you why. And people would say, well, Brian Norman never moved. Yes, he did. He actually came from the dog. The one I told you at the beginning of the video, he opened up at plus 112. He went from plus 112 to the favorite, and he's been staying the favorite the whole entire time and never changed. Brian Norman got as high as minus 130. It came to minus 120, and now they're sitting equally at minus 110 on Bet Online, on Bovada, and a lot of these different sites. Why hasn't Brian Norman moved from being the favorite when nobody is betting on him? None of the larger money is coming on him. Now he's getting 45% of the bets. Yes. He's getting 45%, while Devin Haney is getting 55% of the bets. So that's almost a 50-50 type of thing on the bets. But the larger money is coming in on Devin. But Brian Norman Jr. hasn't moved from being the favorite. Huh? Nobody knows Brian Norman, right? But why is he still the favorite? Even if you look at the odds, you go look at betting rounds, rounds to get knockdowns and things of the nature, the lower, a lot of those is plus money because Vegas is trying to tell you, Vegas is wanting to say, well, we're going to put the over because we know Devin goes the distance in all his fights. We're going to put the over at 10.5 and we're going to make it minus 250. Well, if that's the case, you might as well look at getting some money in the stoppage or even the decision. My thing is, what I didn't understand is, how's the decision plus 1,000, but you got the rounds over 10.5 to go minus 250. But a decision for any fighter is plus money. Yeah, that's crazy. I don't understand that. Brian Norman odds are on a decision or lesser than Devin Haney's. I think odds on the decision, or when I last checked, it was like plus 300 on the decision for Brian Norman, but it was like plus 700 for Devin Haney or some shit like that. I don't understand that. So when people, of course, I understand there's a lot of people who's a fan of Devin Haney, right? But these guys are not telling you or helping you understand what the odds are saying or what the odds have done. Well, I had someone tell me that the odds, nobody was really putting money down on Devin like that at the beginning. Well, in order for Devin to move over to the dog, it had to be a large lump sum of money coming in, right? Vegas pretty much is saying this. We think that Brian Norman Jr. is going to win, so this is what I want y'all to do. I want y'all to go ahead and put all the money on Devin. We're going to flip him to the dog. Y'all put more money on him. And then when he come back to the favorite, because you get excited, y'all going to put more money on him. So now y'all done racked up $2, $3, $4, $5 million of Devin Haney betting money, gambling money, and they're going to sweep that on up because nobody bet it on Brian Norman. Now I can show you, in which I will show you, on Abdullah Mason and Sam Noakes fight. Abdullah Mason is getting 90% of the handle and 90% of the bets. David Benavidez versus Yard, I think David Benavidez is getting like 80%, 88% of the handle and 92% of the bets. Abdullah Mason, I said, but Bam is getting like 99% of the handle and like 92% of the bets. But why is it on Brian Norman and Devin Haney fight, Devin Haney is getting like 88 I think it was like last time I checked, between 83 to 88% of the handle, but only between 53 and 55% of the money, of the bets. And Brian Norman is only getting like 20% of the handle and 45% of the bets. That's the only fight on there. And I can show you better than I can tell you. I got the betting, not only do the betting odds, I got multiple people who own sports books. Guys, I literally bet every single day. I gamble every single day. So I know what the lines are telling me. Do you know what the lines are telling you? And also, my whole thing was, throughout this whole thing, Devin was an undisputed champion. He's beat all these guys. He has a superior resume, right? But have you guys really taken the time, without just being so fanned out, taking the time to break down the resume? Because in my eyes, if you're an undisputed champion, you're a champion 2 different weight divisions, 2 or 3 different weight divisions, and you held multiple belts, and you've been in multiple championship fights, how in the fuck did you go to the dog? Brian Norman Jr. never went to the dog at the beginning, went to the favorite. And I've said time and time again, only thing I hate about betting is when a person starts off as a favorite and then goes to the dog and then come back to the favorite, a lot of times that person loses. Well, who did that? So I'm just giving you, I'm not telling you guys what to do or things of that nature, but basically what I'm saying is this. Brian Norman came from the dog to the favorite and has never went back to the dog. You know what else fight did that? Bud Crawford versus Errol Spence. did the same exact thing. Know what else fight did that? Gary Worshell Jr. versus Mark Masayo. Go look through my profiles when I talked about the live odds betting show. Just go look for yourself. Go look for yourself. Everything that I've said, I'm not saying nothing different that I've never said before, but I'm giving you guys an in-depth explanation on why the odds did what they did, right? Some people may like it, some people may not. But unfortunately, it's that I gamble every single day, and I know exactly what I'm looking at. But people would tell me, hey, nobody was betting money like that. Well, if nobody was betting money like that when the lines first dropped, how in the fuck did Devin Haney go to the dog? Because everybody was betting him, putting large sum of money on him to win the fight. And then when he went to the dog, guess what else happened? They put more money on him because they got him at a plus money price. And then guess what else happened? Vegas said, okay, y'all gonna still keep betting him? Fuck it. We're gonna move him to the favorite. We moved him to the favorite, and motherfuckers still betting him. But then nobody ever questioned and think to themselves, damn, why the fuck didn't Brian Norman move back down to a dog? He's been a favorite ever since August. The lines dropped in like, I think late June, early July. And when it first came out, he was plus 112, which is an awesome number on the dog side. Just gave y'all a hint. I just gave y'all something. So for me, man, hey, like I said before, understand what you're looking at, understand what you're doing, because again, just laying money down, not knowing the inside stuff, that's on you. I'm just trying to help y'all out, that's all. Again, basically right now, the books is telling you it's a 50-50 fight. But if you look at what's been happening to the lines that led up to Vegas putting it at 50-50, it's telling you everything you need to know, right? Vegas pretty much thinks that Brian Norman's going to win. The public thinks that Devin Haney's going to win. So right now, it's literally the favorite, the public versus Vegas. And there's nothing wrong with that. But guys, I'm just giving you intel on what I think. But I'm trying to see what's going to happen with this flight. So we're going to see, man. I'm trying to get out there for sure. Hello, world. And currently, Devin Haney's getting 87% of the money. And you can also tell that he came back to the favorite. But you're seeing multiple outlets state that, oh, now he's the favorite, he's the favorite, he's the favorite. Well, even if you go look at the odds currently on DraftKings, FanDuel, and Bovada, you go look at those odds, man. Listen, he's still the dog. It's just that he came back over to the favorite. And like I said earlier in the video, Vegas still believes that Brian Norman Jr. is going to win this fight. They still believe he's their favorite. That's who they're picking. And the public is currently still pounding Devin Haney. They're still currently pounding him. But hence, why hasn't Brian Norman Jr. moved from being the favorite? It's not because he's a champion, right? Because all the money's coming in on Devin. So why is he still the same? I'll let you guys figure that out. And I'll show you some updated odds as well. I just took this picture just a couple minutes ago. And you can just see how the odds are still the same. And then Devin Haney is getting 80% of the money. And just a lump sum of money came in on Brian Norman Jr. at 20%. If you see the difference of the bets, was Devin at 55% of the bets. And now you see Brian Norman Jr. with 45% of the bets. It pretty much means that all the money is coming in on Devin. But Brian Norman Jr. is still the favorite. Vegas is hinting and indicating something. What are the question you have to ask yourself? What are they indicating? Does Vegas know or Vegas don't know? That's the question you have to ask yourself, especially when it comes to these betting odds. Because you can clearly see that Devin Haney has all the money on him in this fight. And this is a screenshot from Bovada. Odds are dead even. So I don't know where people get the notion of saying Devin Haney is the favorite. Again, like I said before, I've been doing this for 17 years. I've been gambling for 17 years. I've given out free picks on my channel. And we've cashed damn near 98% of them. I think we might have lost one bet since I did the last odds betting show. But guys, listen, this is the fight. It's fight night. Here are the odds.